All right, welcome back. You guys can hear me okay? All right, great. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that you guys that had for a while have absolutely heard about. Um, this this particular aha kind of gave birth to an entire webinar series that we do that's now called other things, from time to time, but we call it Two Ticks to Paradise is the one that seems to be the event that gains the most attention and seems to hit home with the most people. And all of that came out of this particular aha moment. So the aha moment that I had as I was really struggling with my trading, it just kind of me in some, I don't know, short period of enlightenment. And what, I kept trying to things be all things, um, trying to, make a whole bunch of money being a single contract trader, get a lot of traction. And as so we came up with this, I came up with this idea of trying to gain some traction as a winning trader. And I thought, if I could just win one trade a day or one tick a day, what would that, and then I could just kind of build a record of winning days, and think about winning rather than money. And we talked about money last time in the last session and how dangerous it is for us to focus our efforts on money. So this is kind of, that whole process, a lot of these ahas kind of came in either in individual ahas. Sometimes they would come to me in groups of ahas, and this kind of went along with that. If money is so dangerous to be thinking about during trading, for it to be the focus of the trading, well, what do I need to focus on? What would be more important than money? And it occurred to me that I had never established myself, or I had never proven to myself that I could ever even be a winning trader, much less trade for these longer, these bigger 10, 20, 30 tick trades on a single contract, which is what I was struggling with. When you're first starting, you don't have a huge account. You can't, well, you could trade a lot of contracts, but typically you're not going to because you want to learn first, right? So I started thinking, I don't even have a clue if I have what it takes to even be a winning trader. So I started thinking, what if I just started looking for wins? I was desperate to get that feeling I had at the end of each day to go away. That feeling of despair, of remorse, of resentment, of fear, of panic, of pain. All of that pretty much characterized my trading life, as those emotions. And so once I realized that most of those were related to money, how could I change those? What could I do? What could be my mission each day? So I came up with this whole idea of proving to myself that I could be a winning trader. So the whole idea was, and it's funny because even all these years later, I remember sitting there looking at charts going, okay, right now, under these circumstances, with the markets moving the way they are, I have a really good idea that price is going to do something here. And most of us can realize that we can, or think that we can, within a pretty high degree of probability, know which way this is about to go. Whether it's going to continue going the way it is, or whether it's going to stop and turn or whatever. But we all generally, if been in trading for a while, we kind of generally know in the short term, we kind of generally know what price is going to do next, a little bit. So I started thinking, I know with a high degree of probability I could figure out if price is going to move one tick and which direction it's probably going to move in. So I started building on that. First, I played a game in my head and I just started watching price, and I said, okay, price is going to go up a tick here, and more times than not it would. So just playing that little game with myself, I started realizing, let's see how often I can be right here. So the intention was, I was, at the time, I was sim trading still, but I wanted to build a structure of being a winning trader. So what I did is I created 2 sim accounts, and I called one sim and I called one live sim. So I would start the trading day in my live sim account, and the mission was to increase that account size by 1 tick, close my live sim account, and open my sim account. Now, what that told me, what that did, no matter what I did throughout the rest of the trading day, my live sim account was the one that counted. As far as wins, losses, money, tick, however you're going to count it, the live sim was the one that counted. The sim for practice. All right? So my live sim account put money in the sim in that account, okay? And that's where this whole idea of 1 tick a day started. Now, what's the purpose of this? The whole purpose of this is the process. It's not the tick, okay? The 1 tick, which would be the product of the trade, or the product of multiple trades. It's that series of 1 tick. That's not where the value is, okay? Then the process of going through the steps day by day by day to live sim mode, getting your 1 tick, exiting as a winner. Now, no matter what, at the end of the day, regardless of what happened in your sim account, no matter what, you left the trading day as a winning trader. Okay? So what does this do? It helps us to remove the negative expectations. We were talking about it in the trade room a few minutes ago. That you can come, wake up in the morning and go and sit down at your trading computer and have the best way to predict the future is to study the past, right? So our past, a lot of us, is, as it relates to trading, is expecting something bad to happen, because that's probably what happened yesterday and the day before and the day before that. So we begin to have these emotions, these negative expectations of what's about to happen in our trading day. It's certainly not what we want to have happen. In fact, we're probably giving ourselves a pep talk. Today is going to be a great day. We're going to have, but subconsciously, we have these negative expectations because this is what we've come to expect over time. So if we can start to remove those negative expectations while we're conditioning ourselves to have these new expectations of being a winning trader. Okay, it's a lot easier than you might think, although it does take a good bit of work. But we can't just say, okay, I'm not going to be negative today, or I'm not going to have negative expectations today. A lot of the time it's subconscious. You don't realize you have negative expectations. You can't just talk yourself into having good expectations. All right, we can try, but history says, and my experience says, you're not going to be successful for very long, especially if you have another losing day, okay, based on what you've been doing over and over and over again. So what's the next step? What's the next benefit of becoming conditioned to having these expectations of having a winning day? You're going to build confidence. We don't come into trading, well, we come into trading with a lot of confidence, a lot of moxie, a big ego, and very quickly we become humbled. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, Mike. The brain doesn't hear, I'm not, only hears going to have a bad day. That's a good point. And I sure remember that clearly. So if you don't have confidence, if you're now trading with real money and you don't have 100% confidence that you have a trading system that has an edge, that you have the financial and emotional abilities to trade and the skill to trade that edge, you've got no business trading with real money. You've got to condition the confidence. You've got to earn confidence. I can't sell it to you. I can't talk you into it. I can't have 100 sessions of these types of sessions and give you confidence by you sitting and listening to me. I wish I could. I'd be very rich and you guys would never see me again. You have to earn it. And all we can do is help you earn it. It's interesting that you will begin to expect be a winning trader at the end of the day. You will sit down and you will be able to visualize being a winner at the end of the day. Why? Because it has been happening. It happened yesterday. Okay, it's one tick. Don't care. We're not counting money right now. We're conditioning ourselves to have confidence. Okay? We're also conditioning ourselves to remove those negative expectations. You look at your, and we cover this in other sessions. You start looking at your calendar, the big green check on it that says you had a winning day, and you start seeing how many of those in a row you have. You start gaining some confidence. You start believing, hey, you know what? I can be a winning trader. I can do this. And here's the proof. Now, you're not going to make a lot of money at that, but that comes later. You've got to build the foundation of being a winning trader first, and then build on top of that to turn it into an income. Now, this has now become a great stress relief. Again, Mike was in the room talking about this just a little while ago. About he's been with us, 3 weeks now, Mike? Maybe a month? And after 5 years of negative experience, you've now got some positive experience, and your stress levels had way down. Your confidence has gone way up, and you're having a much more enjoyable time at your trading each day. So it's a huge stress relief because you've removed one of those things that you're concerned about, but you don't actually think about a lot. And you're concerned about, is this for me? Can I even do it? Can I be a winning trader at any point in my trading career? Will I ever see a string of wins? Which, by the way, Mike said today was his 11th day in a row, or 12th, I'm not sure, um, being a winning trader. So his confidence is soaring. Yeah, 11th day in a row. His confidence is now recovering from all of the negative experiences that he's had over the last 5 years. And Mike's like a poster child of developing new habits that need to be developed. You're going through this process of those one tick winners, getting one tick and getting out for the day. It's a process. You're not going to suddenly have okay, I've done it. I'm now a regularly profitable trader, and that's all I have to do, and I'm done. You're going to work at it constantly, and as you work at it, you're going to develop new habits. It's also easier to do habits when you're trading in a group of people that also exhibit those habits that you want to have, and you're not sitting alone in your office, on your computer, wherever, with the internal fight that we often have when we're trying to talk ourselves into or out of trading. If you're hanging out with a group of people that are exhibiting those good habits, it makes it that much easier. So we're going to start to form these new habits as we start to become, as we go through this list of things, lower stress, expectations of being a winner, you're building confidence, all this, okay? All right, any questions about this one tick idea? If you've got, this was such a well-received aha moment that we have expanded it into a webinar that we do on a regular basis. So if you to YouTube, and you'll see a webinar called Two Ticks to Paradise that we do probably a couple times a year, because people, they've heard it before but need to be reminded of it. And maybe you're at a point where you're struggling, and maybe you've done the 2-tick challenge and started going better, but then you started struggling again. Maybe you need to get back to it. So go watch that on our YouTube channel again if you need to. All right, no questions? Great. Well, everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll see.